Aho, matakiasen. Namaste, sarve. Mire, rishtidar. So, no, Osio, all my relatives. So, the intention here has been primarily the overall for this period of time. We were asked to choose one word, and mine ended up being 3. Peaceful, abundant breakthrough. You know, I believe I'm really just beginning to feel it. And I am so eternally grateful for this soul family that I'm blessed to be a part of. The grandmothers, the women's, the 8th fire, the all our relations fire, these adopted parents, so to speak, of mine, my adopted mother and my adopted dad. And I'm even grateful for the biological family and this whole incredible journey that I've been privileged to walk with, to walk through, to, for lack of a better word, alchemize type of thing. So our theme this week is the tears that feed our soul. And we've been on this training ground, the Synchronicity Bus Express together, watching and witnessing the Mayan calendar and how it outplays in our life. Not on a personal level, a community level, a collective level, a universal level. And so we had this healing yourself on a cellular level. We took this deep dive with the cottonwood tree and how we appropriate the non-human animals to appreciating the human animals, the non-human animals. Well, the humans are animals too. Even how we can appropriate different spiritual aspects, the sacred land, spiritual tools and rituals. And then we had there was the deep dive into the sacred feminine. There was, oh gosh, it's, love being the skin that we're in, And yet it is the joy that fills us up. And when you can take a deep dive into something, I can only speak for myself. When I am able to take a deep dive into something and face that shadow, face that lion, face that bear, face whatever is in that cave, in that darkness, in that shadow, and take it beyond the personal level. Yes, you heal it on a personal level by recognizing the belief that may have been passed down to you, or passed down your ancestral line, or taught in society, or whatever it is. Even the pain that you go through. For me, as I have jumped into this, it has been this, well, yes, loving myself. But through loving myself, I create peace and joy. I face the dark wolf and the white wolf and bring them together. You marry it. You become the center between the two, realizing how both have been amazing, beautiful gifts, and appreciating the teachers, ourselves, ultimately, that brought it to us, brought it through us. And so for myself, there's been this really deep dive, especially here in the last few months, around the appropriation of the divine feminine, yes, but on a much, much deeper level, because I've been reading the Cosmic Mother and going back to like, well, maybe God is neither, but there must be the womb before the sperm can create that big boom, right? And it is the mother who gives all of the nurturing, and the father who brings the wisdom and grace, and or the food, the animals, so to speak, the hunt. But the real nurturing and language and fire and all of these different things, speech, because men out on the hunt needed to be quiet. They needed to be silent. They needed to be unseen and unheard in order to receive, to get the hunt, so to speak, to get the animal and bring it back. And the women would do all the work with it, cooking it, feeding it, tanning it, turning it into clothing. And yes, the men worked those tools too while they were there. Absolutely, I am not negating that. And how the woman would be, it's time for me to have, listening, time for me to have a baby. And she would accept her man. However, that energy, that, oh gosh, because I've also been doing this deep dive into the 69, into the yin yang, into that space of the Kundalini Tantra, that sacred energy. And it was that sacred energy that is cultivated within each one, harnessed, recognized, and used in a very sacred way, which is sometimes bring about life, but it is also a very healing energy. It is that, that Lavonic flow that can keep nurturing and healing and nurturing and healing. And this is where the 69, it's that mergence of the two within yourself first, and then can be shared to bring about life in a sacred way. I remember having a reading around the Aborigines, and they're like, nope, we are not we heard the message to not have babies, and so there is no need for for the two to come together. But it is done on that energy is cultivated and harnessed and controlled, so to speak, used in a very wise way in many, many, many other areas of our life, in all the areas of our life, if we are open to it. That's that flow. That flow. Same with the waters, that flow. And so this deep dive these past few weeks into myself, with myself, and especially this warrior renew, because this is the time where I was called to come here to Yuma. I didn't know it at the time. I was following my intuition, going, this is where I need to go. This is where I am being told that I will have this reclamation, so to speak. And so I have been in this reclamation period in community with all of my other soul families and working these gene keys, this Mayan calendar, that those two go together so beautifully. And both of them are based on astrology. And them listening and hearing what the planetary energies and the alignments and et cetera, et cetera. So we're in this time of, I had gone through this beautiful, beautiful healing with the rapes that had occurred, and consequently not being able to have children, and going through a hysterectomy at a very young age, and and I negated my veteran status, the fact that I'm a warrior. I just do what I do and I be who I be, and going through all of these different journeys and this this energy around men. And I say that as men in general. And then going, okay, well, there's men of other types, and getting this opportunity to meet my adopted dad and other men who support the divine feminine. And and then I do recall a time where we were taking children from mothers here in the United States. It's happened many other places, but it was very prominent here in the United States. And we did this with the indigenous. When we conquered these lands, when we discovered these lands, which they were already here, was already discovered. However, this genocide and appropriation. So this has been going on with the feminine since, in my understanding, agricultural times. Not necessarily when we had our gardens at our homes, our little cabins or whatnot. You were tending the earth, you were listening to the earth, but when we stepped it up to a big ag space and we have dominion over Mother Earth, and we have drilled her, we have raped her, we have appropriated her for our needs, primarily greed and money. And you take that to the cows, how we rape them, take their babies from them, steal their milk, keep them impregnated. And we do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until they finally collapse. We do this with the horses. We do this with every species. We've done this with the land. We've done this with Mother Earth. And we have done this. What we do to the earth and the animals, we do to ourselves. And so we have done it to ourselves, each other, all of the different races. And healing that, really kind of going beyond yes, I went through the pain part of it and the shame and the guilt and all of that. And then came to this beautiful, wow, I've really been gifted a blessing here, space. And then now taking this and re-looking at it again and dissolving any feelings, emotions, beliefs, going beyond this to moving through them, but then taking it even deeper into this, wow, what happens on an individual level really is taking place on a collective level. And what is taking place in the collective level is taking place inside each one of us on a personal level, whether we are fully conscious of it and aware or not. We really are honest and going inside and being willing to, okay, what is this about? Because not only is it happening for you, it's happening for others. And when we can face that, move through that, bring light to it, that aha, it heals on that cellular level. And it is not only healing you, it is healing the collective. And just as the natives had shared, it heals, I believe, more than 7 generations back, but 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. And it brings we do not necessarily heal Mother Earth. Mother Earth is going to take care of herself. She's much bigger than any of us, and that's the collective too. She is bigger than any of us, and same with Father Grace. Oneness is greater than any of us. It is going to have its way through us, whether we're kicking and screaming or peacefully, abundantly breaking through to the real peace and serenity that brings about that ooey, juicy love we all have enjoy, that we all choose, we all are looking for, we're all wanting to experience. It comes from that place of peace where the two wolves can lay down together and groom each other. Where the lion really does lay down with the lamb. And then it's this vibration, this natural vibration. And then, yes, that vibration, that tantra is gonna ripple something else up. And when you can take joy in doing that, it creates another peaceful, abundant breakthrough where that vibration of peace and compassion and that ooey juicy goodness vibrates even purer and purer and purer and purer until it is time where you can just close your eyes and go, I believe Creator is done with me in this lifetime. Or if not, then maybe it's a kick and screaming to make that transition. I don't know. Everyone has their own journey, and I'm not going to pretend to know. However, with the elders that I have been blessed to witness, to sit at their feet, this is the work that they do. And love their solitude. They love to share. They love to tell stories. But they love their solitude, that silence, to listen beyond the words, to feel it, allow it to move through without any attachment, without taking it personal, and going, hey, hey, I see, I feel, I hear, I taste. So, and I smell. So I say thank you, thank you, thank you for this opportunity to share what's been on my heart, to share how much I love being a part of my spiritual families, how much I feel blessed to breathe and listen and feel held, to trust, to have faith that what we do, who we allow ourselves to be, creates such beauty and brings tears of joy and sadness and pain and ecstasy that feeds us, feeds me, defeats the I am.